I cannot consider talking about my life without talking about this AP constable. Every time, hardly a week passes without me remembering. And before I start talking about him, it says that raha jipe mwenyewe, and what pleases one is not what pleases the other. I saw him at his happiest moment, and I want to share with you. First of all, there was a time when I had been made an inspector at Wajir, and I used to meet this AP constable. On the left upper lip, he had a missing tooth, and whenever he would meet me, he behaved as though he was from Coast, but he was not from Coast. You know, Coast people are very jovial. Whenever he would meet me, he would be very jovial. I want to say this about administration police as compared to general duty police officers. Administration police, you go somewhere, even right now, I just passed somewhere and someone tells an administration police, do you know that fellow used to be an inspector of police? And you'd see the reverence that the administration police would give me. Even though the day I was made an inspector of police, he was not even born. But general duty police officers, once you leave service, 24 hours later, he treats you like a civilian. Not even a civilian, worse than a civilian. He treats you like a suspect. If you are near him, and maybe he has his walkie-talkie, or he has his handcuffs, or he has his firearm, he holds them in such a way that it's as if you may grab it from him. And if you regularly visit police stations, after you leave, they will always say that, why is he back in the, what did he forget in the police station? Why doesn't he just accept and live his civilian life? But APs, I can assure you, even from here, if I cut 2 or 3 corners and meet an AP, if he knows me, he will stiffen up in attention. If he doesn't know me and anybody tells him that I used to be an inspector of police, he'll stiffen up in attention. That is AP for you. Well, but the bad thing about AP is when one AP does anything wrong to any non-AP, I can tell you, from DIG to a recruit in, I think in Embakasi they are taught that, stand by your AP. That one I've seen, that one I can say. So this AP, whenever you'd meet him, he would hold me with reverence, more than an ordinary AP. You see, I can tell you that today, if I were to meet an AP for the first time, and the AP is told that I used to be an inspector of police, he would hold me in reverence more than a serving general duty, GD, would treat a serving inspector. But this one, even though APs hold inspectors in high esteem, he held me in a higher esteem than that. So but then I used to look at him and see, hey, this face is familiar. I must have seen him somewhere. I must have seen him somewhere. So one day I stopped him at the trading center in Wajir and asked him, do you know me? He said, yes, Afande. Mimi nakujua. Oh, yes, sir. I know you. Are you not the inspector of police for the intelligence? He said, yes. But I think I've met you elsewhere before. He said, no, we just met here. Actually, the day you were made an inspector, then you were brought here. I've never seen you before. But then I went home, slept. When I sleep is when I visit places. So I visited places and remembered him. Then the following day, I went straight to him and told him where we had met. He laughed. Now this is what happened. When I was training to be an inspector during my midterm, There was a bar next to the city stadium. Correction, Kadenge Stadium. You know, my name is Kadenge. Maragoli is called Kadenge, Buku is called JI-TENGE. So it was wrong for me to call the city stadium. I was supposed to say Joe Kadenge Stadium. So uh, during my midterm, I used to go to the bar near City Stadium, near Kadenge Stadium. I'd go there, take alcohol from morning till evening. But I noticed I used to have somebody from home, somebody as a former schoolmate, somebody whose home I slept the last day I joined the police as a recruit. So we were drinking, you know, and then somebody from Northeastern who is in Kiganjo, who has spent 2 months without going out. Now he had a lot of money. We could drink for that whole week through my pocket. But I noticed that there was this young man. Then he was still a young man. There was this young man who sat down, and whenever he entered that bar, they'd play the song. There were 2 songs. They cannot even reach 4. But the most prominent was Karibu Yangu by Shalamwana. Unipeleke kwa baba, atakupatia mali, tufunge ndoa ya lote. So you'd sit there around 10 a.m. And when he arrived there, he never talked to anybody. He never uttered a thing to anybody. He would sit there. They bring a beer for him. Whenever he would come, they would just ask, Kawaida, he said Kawaida. Then they would give him his brand of beer. He would take that beer, finishing, he would be given another, finishing, he would be given another. And you know, I stopped taking alcohol, so I don't know whether it's still there. But in urban areas, you order for a beer, you are told, pay first. In a rural area, you buy beer, and when you want to go is when you are given a receipt. Those days, you are given a receipt, you start questioning, hey, this is what ndio nimekunywa. But in urban areas, they used to, you order, you pay, they bring. So he would sit there, they would ask him, do you want the normal one? He would say, yes, I want the normal one. They would be given a beer. He never sat with anybody, male or female, on the table. He just sat by himself. He would take that beer. It would reach lunchtime. They would tell him, no more lunch. He said, no more lunch. And then a barmaid would go to Bama, buy meat, prepare it for him. He would eat alone. Then we would stay that way until the time he would stagger drunk and go, to repeat it again the following day and the following day and the following day. Yes, I was a student in Kiganjo at that time, attending my inspectorate course, but I was an intelligence officer all the same. So I used to wonder, who is this fellow? Why is he this way? But then my 1 week ended, I went back to Kiganjo. So in the morning I woke up, remembered that, and went to him. Said, do you know a bar called this and that and whatever. Do you know that late February this year, that was 1988, late February, I think I saw you used to drink there. The fellow laughed. And you see, the people who have sorts of deformation on their body, they unconsciously remember that. So when he started laughing, he remembered that he did not have a tooth on the upper left jaw. So he covered his mouth. I remember. Said, I used to see you, and I used to wonder. You talked to nobody, you had no friend, you had nobody. You'd just wake up at 10, take alcohol and meet up to, and you never quarreled with anybody. And even when they used to play your favorite song, you'd just dance while seated, just like these people who are in wheelchair. You know how they dance. They use their hands more than their legs. I said, I was wondering. He laughed, and that was around December, 8 months after the act. So I asked him, what happened? He said, Afande, sir, had taken a loan, and I decided that loan to kukula maisha. So I took a loan, stayed in Nairobi, and took alcohol in that one bar alone until the loan was back, and until the loan was cleared, and then I came back. I asked him, "Are you still paying for the loan?" He said, "I'm paying for the loan." But I saw no regret on his face, and I appreciated him that day, and I still appreciate him. You see, this is somebody who was like a tourist. You see, these tourists you see in Mombasa, they save a lot of money to come and enjoy in Mombasa. So if that thing he enjoyed, and if at the time he was paying, you know, when you take a loan, the first few months is when they deduct you mercilessly. Now they were deducting him mercilessly. That was 6 months after the act. But he had no regret. He said he went there, he enjoyed life, and he is back to his station to continue his life. I'll never forget him. Maybe if I see him today, I'll remember him. But you see, that was around 40 years ago. I don't know whether I can still remember him if I meet him. But anyway, raha jipe mwenyewe.